Hi there, it's Greg from the Sly Sports Podcast here. Welcome to the Deadline Day special, a full 2-hour show as we cover all the madness that really has been going on in the Premier League and the Championship with the transfers this week. We're also going to be covering the Championship games, we're going to do a preview of the Premier League season as well, so all sorts to look forward to for you. Let us know if you wanted us to cover any team that there was a few that we ended up looking through because of our time constraints and the fact that it was already going 2 hours. So yeah, let us know. Let us know if you think your team got not enough attention, and we'll try and cover it back in the next week's episode. If not, we'll just carry on with our plan as it was. And you can find our contact details at the end of the show or in the show notes. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Hello and welcome into the second episode of the Sly Sports Podcast, talking all things footy in the Premier League and the Championship. And hopefully my voice sounds a bit better this week than last week, because my God, it was terrible.
You've got on par with my volume this time, I think.
Well, I hope so, because God, you can hardly hear me speak sometimes, which is, well, it's obviously part and parcel of starting a new podcast, isn't it? But,
yeah.
You know, the second thing is realising how many times you say when you haven't got a script in front of you. That was the other thing.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a chuckle at that. That was quite funny.
Do you know, the funny thing is, you suddenly realise how much you hate the sound of your own voice when you're listening back to it. I think that was the thing that
Yeah, it's something I've always been aware of. It's a classic thing when I'm at a concert or something like that, and you're belting out the words on camera, and then you hear it back the next day or something. It's awful. And it's the same thing with me with the podcast last week. But, well...
Yeah,
I'm not the one who has to deal with it right now.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have. This is going to be put at the end of the show. We do have a Twitter. We have a YouTube now, and I've managed to get us on Google, iTunes, and a few others that I can't remember off the top. Spotify, obviously. I think Pocket Casts. I'm trying to remember the other two off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on pretty much. We're getting towards most platforms now, so hopefully, we'll get some interaction soon. Obviously, at the moment, we only just started out. We weren't expecting too much interaction the first week, but I think we're going to start tweeting a bit more once we're both a bit less busy and just getting into it.
Yeah, after the next couple of weeks, it should definitely start to cool down a little bit from my side.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I think really we'll get into all that. We'll put that in at the end of the show. I think that'll probably be the best place to put that. We'll give all the details out of that. So keep listening, guys. If you find the podcast interesting, you can get in touch. Right. What's coming up on this show? I think we're going to be talking Premier League transfer grades first.
Yeah, I believe that's what we're going to do.
Yep. Then we're going to go for the
whistle stop tour, I think.
Yes. We only have an hour and a half. I say we only have an hour and a half, but the thing is, we have so much to cover because, my God, what an exciting transfer window this turned out to be in the end. Pure chaos.
Yeah, it was crazy. A great deadline day. I couldn't do my work today.
Yeah, I know. Just so much popping off. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. So after that, we're going to be doing the Championship transfer grades, and then we're going to go deep dive into, well, not deep dive, but we'll look a bit more into the Championship results from last week, see how we did with our predictions and how much we can really take from those results so far. We're going to follow that up with our Premier League table predictions after that, see how we stand up to that at the end of the season.
Not looking forward to that section.
No, I think that's another one that we're both going to look a bit, questionable at the very least. And then we're going to go into our score predictions for both the Premiership and Championship, and then we'll finish it off with a what year is it? Who am I? And then a random. I'm going to give a random stat because I've decided, you know what, you can never get enough random stats, can you?
No.
So yeah. All right, let's just get into it, shall we? Assuming as I was going to ask you how you're doing everything, but you say you're busy, so I won't trouble you too much. Well, you say you're busy, so I don't want to carry. No one wants to really hear what's going on with us at the moment, do they?
My boring life, no.
No, maybe in a few weeks' time once things have settled down.
Well, that's because my life will be football in a few weeks' time.
Well, exactly.
So,
Well, yeah. I think from this weekend for me, it's just going to be football. I know last week it kicked off,
honest.
but this is the real,
this is the when it's
nitty
double
gritty.
header, isn't it? You got the Championship and the Premier League all going on, so it should be good. But it's been a weird transfer window. I've not remembered a transfer window like this in a while. The transfer deadline day.
I don't know if it's just because the teams that I'm really interested in have been really active, or not.
I mean, for one thing, my team's actually done bits in the business in the transfer window. For once, where we're normally very quiet, so I've been quite happy with our window. And there's a lot of crazy deals going on, so around both leagues and
I'm whenever I was not, when we went in the Premier League, I did like to follow Arsenal because they're one of my favourite bigger clubs, and they've done a lot this year. It's been interesting. So should we just get into it?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, talking of the madness, the Premier League this year was this transfer window has been. It's not even started yet, and it just feels like it's going to be an utter. Actually, for the Premier League, quite unpredictable outside of, your staple top 8, really, don't you? But
outside that, honestly, I had real trouble predicting this table. And just a disclaimer before I announce them later on. So if anyone does listen to this podcast, and you're a fan of the Premier League club I've put in the bottom 3 or wherever,
it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal between.
B, I may or may not know what I'm talking about with it because there's so many teams I could see survive.
Yeah, wow.
It's similar to the Championship this year.
I think you'd be pretty impressive if you managed to predict every position correct.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty ridiculous.
That would be crazy.
It's more just the top and the bottom of the table if you're getting that right. But still,
exactly.
It's all just good fun, isn't it? Really, but
yeah. So I think really before we dive into it, the way I'd summarise it is, it was a bit of a weird one because the big teams for once didn't really do too much.
No, I've noticed this. Particularly the ones I was pointing out, particularly with regards to that, would be Chelsea.
That is for obviously the embargo reasons, yeah. But...
Exactly. Obviously they've had a fair few outgoings, but obviously the fans probably haven't been too excited with what they've seen going on, understandably. And the other one I've kind of noticed is Liverpool a little bit. They've not really done loads and loads of business that I've noticed. And I think it's because they're pretty content with their squad, which is understandable. I think that I respect that.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't feel they need to strengthen the team, which I agree with that policy.
Yeah.
I think they're almost there, really.
Let's cover it then.
I'd say they probably were there last year, even. Man City is just incredible year, but yes, I'll let you.
I think they had one of those seasons where it was unfortunate for them. They were right there, and
exactly.
Any other season they'd have won a league.
Exactly.
Right. I've decided we're going to do it just so we're not biased at all, because it's alphabetical order, or some teams. Everyone wants to hear about the team, just who they're following, but also just to give it a bit of difference, because Sky Sports, to be honest, I have to say I watched it today. You didn't watch it, but Sheffield United were just never there, and it just started. And Norwich weren't, and I know Norwich didn't do lots either, but. You're there, at least just come to us a few times.
I noticed Norwich mentioned they were closed for business before deadline day, so I think that explained that.
But, no, I understand that, but what I mean is not even like a courtesy pop over to be like, there's nothing going on. Yeah. It was literally just, and I know they're strict on time, but throughout the day there was a period when nothing was going on, and they just weren't going around to these things. But we were doing stuff. Stories, if you see on our Twitter. Verrips was at our ground for ages because he got like a whole full video recorded of him in the training session. So it's like, well, he's obviously been there for ages. Why was this not confirmed or said that he was at the ground? I don't know.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
Strange, yeah. That is a good sign.
Anyway, rant over from Sky Sports. I find them frustrating.
They're very hit and miss, aren't they?
Yeah. So this first one for me was a tough one. I've done it. I've decided I'm going to do it in a random order, and this is the first one that's come out. And I didn't really want this as my first one because it's a tough one to talk about. Tottenham.
Right.
It's for me. This is a difficult one because I'm a massive fan of Lascelles. So Ndombele is brilliant. I think he's
that's a good
class.
Yeah.
I think he's. I saw him play a couple of times, and he did look like he. Even players stand out to you. You're like, okay, who's that guy?
He really. He definitely stood out to me as well. I think.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a
And
good move for them.
I mean, we both know Sessegnon's class.
And Sessegnon, yeah, I think that was a good deal because considering Fulham, I think it's almost good it's happened on deadline day in a way, because I think Fulham were so anxious about losing him. And I think they ended up. I think they probably got a decent deal out of that, Spurs, because I think before they wanted 30-40 million for him, which is a bit ridiculous, because I know the guy's really.
Thing is, I think he's worth about 30, to be honest.
I do, but when you it puts a lot of pressure on a youngster like that when you get
it does, but they've done that with lots of their players recently.
True. But it's still such a 10-year age, really. But I think they've done a good deal there, Spurs, because was it 24 million, 25 million?
Yeah.
I think they've done well, because if it come early in the window, I think they would have been paying a bit more than that.
So I'm going to explain my grade briefly. Spurs fans, don't get too angry at me, because to be honest with you, this is your best transfer window in a long time, because the last few have been terrible. I mean, let's just put it bluntly. You haven't bought anyone. It's going to be a B- for one reason and one reason alone. Well, two actually. You sold Trippier for under his value, in my opinion.
Yeah, Trippier was. I didn't like that sale. Only 20 million. I thought they could have.
And I know they have Walker Peters behind him, but to me, I still think that was undervalued. And they got offered Correa in return, who's a striker. And this is my second point: they didn't get a striker, so they've just got Harry Kane.
Yeah, they're a bit thin at the top of the pitch, I think.
And that's always been Tottenham's problem, is depth.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they have a lot of good.
That's the only reason it's a B. It's the only reason it's a minus. If you've got a striker at Tottenham, if you'd done Correa in return for Trippier, I'd have said, okay, you're looking at a B+, A- area, even A maybe, to be fair. Just full A.
Yeah, I think I like their sort of emphasis on youth football, and they've built a really good core group of players there. But like I said,
they have. But I think the problem they've run into now is you've got the squad that's probably going to be the best squad you're ever going to get.
It's sort of in the golden age. You've
just had the stadium in, and you're kind of now trapped, because yes, these signings that have come in, brilliant. It sets up the team. But you're still lacking that depth. And I just think right now, they missed their window already, to be honest, in my opinion. Unless Pep goes soon. If Pep Guardiola goes soon, then Man City might start to fall apart a bit. But Man City and Liverpool, their gap is massive between them. Pochettino was getting frustrated with his transfers. And, the last few years, when Chelsea won the league and when Leicester won the league, those are the years that I personally think Spurs should have won it. I think they didn't sign the right players, or just didn't at all.
Recruitment's not been up to scratch. I mean, it's been good in certain areas, but you need for you to get towards the top end of the table, you need I know Kane does that job well, but you can't be relying on one striker really.
Their biggest problem has been they've had Llorente recently, and
and he's. I
mean, they do have Mora, to be fair, but Mora. I don't class him as an out-and-out striker. I don't class him as an out-and-out striker either, properly.
But his form's up and down a little bit more, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So, because obviously you have that blinder in the Champions League, but it's whether he can do that kind of role consistently enough anyway.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I'll give them a B as well.
You're going to give them a B?
So slightly higher than you've gone with not the B-.
The only reason is I just think it was such a big area they had to address and they didn't. That's my main problem with it. It's just everything else is brilliant, and I mean brilliant. So Spurs fans, don't get too angry at me. I just think you really missed out there. I just don't know what you were doing. And Trippier being undervalued, I think that just took it down one too many for me in the end.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on, because we do want to get going, and we could be here for ages if we talked about them all super in depth. Crystal Palace was next. I've just randomly selected. Wow, talk about an average transfer window. This is it for Palace.
I really didn't like that transfer window at all, actually.
I'm actually going to give it a C, because I like Cahill. I think that's what they needed. They needed a solid.
I think Cahill is.
For everyone else, I think.
I've given them a C-.
That's exactly what I've given them.
Because they've lost Wan-Bissaka, and they got a decent price for him, 50 million. But I think they're going to struggle to replace him.
So here's the only reason I didn't give them a D is Zaha didn't get sold. But that being said,
right?
he is upset.
Exactly. He's not. He's got this. If he doesn't want to play at the club, that's not a healthy player to have at the club. So yes, you've kept hold of him, but at what cost, really?
However, what I'd say is
dragged it down in my estimation.
Here's the reason I've given it a C minus, not D. Is if Hodgson can just convince me, we're going to sell you in January. Just play it out one more time for us. Palace basically relied on Zaha last year anyway.
Yeah.
If he gets them enough points in the first part of the season, then they might be safe. But yeah, another problem is they don't. Again, they've got another issue if they don't really have a striker. I know they've got Wickham, they've got Benteke, but both of them have been terrible. Well, Wickham's just been injured, and Benteke's been terrible.
In, haven't they? They brought Ayew in from Swansea.
Yeah, but Ayew's not going to set the world alight, is he?
Exactly. I mean, he's not done the job at Swansea. So, I mean, I was surprised they came back in for him actually because he was on loan there last year, wasn't he? But
I think Palace are one of those teams for me that are in trouble. I think they're really in trouble now.
Yeah,
I think unless Cahill, in fairness, I like their back line, isn't it enough? But without Bissaka, if they got Wan-Bissaka there, I mean that'd been immense. They got a decent amount of money for him, but he is a quality player and he's going to prove to be, I think. But yeah, they had Batshuayi on loan. And I was thinking maybe they could get him back, and they didn't from last year.
Yeah,
I don't really know. It's just for me. If I was a Palace fan, I'd be very disappointed. Very disappointed and worried.
Definitely, yeah.
Chelsea next. Where to start? Obviously, I appreciate the circumstances, and that means I do understand that. And you did get Kovacic in permanently, so I'll give you that. However, this is a D because the people you let go of, I just think it doesn't make sense when you're under an embargo. Hazard, firstly, primarily.
Yeah. I mean, that was always going to be on the cards, really.
It was. He was upset, and they did get in Pulisic on loan last year, and he's finally there on permanent because they loaned him back to Dortmund for the rest of the season. But that doesn't replace Hazard. I just don't. Not at all. It's hard to replace a player like that.
I think it's going to be. They had a real gem with Hazard.
Yeah, as much as he could be moody, and he really could be, and he could get missing
times. He could change a game, though. He could change a game in an instant. And I don't think he was being utilised the right way at times when he was being played down the middle. I think he played a lot better on the left. But even so, he could just change the game in an instant, just come out that.
I mean, he was that player for them. If you're wanting to become a big team, you have to have that player. That player that just creates. He's a playmaker. He is just everything you need a player to be in that situation. The one who runs the system.
He's the essential creative outlet.
Yeah. He's the playmaker. He's the one who makes everything go.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more you need to really say about it.
And I have to say, part of my grade is Frank Lampard ?
Yeah, I've torn on this. A lot of people are excited about it. I honestly, personally, people probably going to disagree with me on this. I really think he could do with a couple more years in the Championship first.
I do.
I don't think he's proven.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. If it was me, of course I got
take the opportunity.
That.
Of course,
yeah. So I'm not blaming him. It's for me. I think it's down to personally. The last few managers have left a bad taste in the mouth, and the fans are a bit questionable about the ownership. And they said, "Here's a great thing we'll do. We'll bring in a legend, and he'll be our manager, and he's got a good enough record that we can justify it from this 1 year." But like you say, I know as a manager, he goes from being in the dressing room, but being a manager is different to being a player. And secondly. Was Derby a good team last year? And they weren't amazing. For him to get them to the playoffs, I respect. But
he got them to the playoff final at the end of the day. But the fan, had he not done that, it would have been a little bit different because.
Well, that's the thing. I think most of the season, his team didn't I never watched Derby and thought, wow, the way they play. Do you know what I mean? As in. I just thought they had some great signings they brought in that helped them have that extra creativity. I don't think it was anything necessarily the system did. Although at times, to be fair to him, there was. don't get me wrong, I think he did. For him to get Derby to the playoff final, I think that was a good job. But I just, like you say, I think he needed to just, what's the word? I'm going to say sharpen his sword, but that's the wrong word. Wet his blade, I suppose. I don't know. I can't remember what the phrase is. In the Championship a few more years before, like you say. So that and the other one the other two I've got back here is they've lost two centre backs. Yes, they've got some young ones in Zuma, and what's his face, Christensen. But they lost David Luiz to a rival in Arsenal for 8 million.
And only 8 million, yeah. Really good signing from Arsenal there. And a big loss for Chelsea.
And then Gary Cahill on a free.
I know he's getting on a bit, but to go on a free.
But here's the thing: is I understand if things were different, I would say, yeah, you get rid of Gary Cahill. He's old, but you're under a transfer embargo. Keep that leadership there.
I know. Personally, I don't understand why that's happened, really. Because it's only going to. There's nothing to gain by getting rid of him, really. On a free, especially on a free, I could understand if someone had come in for him, but that baffles me a little bit.
Yeah. So again, what was your grade on that one? I went for a D.
I went for D as well.
Right. Random next one. Oh yeah. Okay. Another pretty boring one, which you wouldn't expect. Liverpool. I gave this one a D.
Liverpool, I gave a B minus.
B minus.
Yes, I just.
Is this you?
I think it's not necessarily that they didn't really do much. I'm not basing it on what they did. It's more the fact that I don't think they needed to particularly. But equally, it can't go missed to bring in a few. I know they brought in a few faces like Vandenberg, but they could have brought in a big
that's an investment for the future. Clearly, that signing.
Yeah.
And what I will say is Adrian is an upgrade over Mignolet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, literally nothing in that transfer window is anything to shout about for Liverpool. And here's my reason I'm giving it a D. And Liverpool fans, I respect what your team is. I know what it is. It's a Champions League winning team. However, Man City just got better than you again, and you just stood still.
Yeah, that is a good point.
And for that reason, I think because this year was the year they had to challenge again. And I just think they've stepped another step behind, and I think for that reason they're a D, because they're a lock for second. They're a lock for a second, but that's where they are now. I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think that because I think those two are clearly the sort of the trend set, the pace setters, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to definitely set the bar high this year. But I do think City are going to have more than Liverpool this year. Without giving away a spoiler for my table prediction.
Yeah, exactly. I think.
But so,
if I was a Chelsea or a Liverpool fan, I'd be very frustrated with that transfer window in the end and how things have panned out. Chelsea, I mean, you have to kind of accept it, but Liverpool, I don't think there's any excuses for why you haven't brought someone in bigger. Really. And I think they needed one, to be honest. I think they could have done with another centre back, because I think Van Dijk is brilliant, and then you've got Lovren and Matip, and it's
not too bad, is it?
It's not great though.
No, I mean
Van Dijk's don't wrong. Van Dijk's on another level, but the other one.
Yeah, but it's not awful, but I think the likes of Lovren. I think Lovren is very sort of hit and miss of his performances, and I think he's, considering the club he's at and sort of the position he's in, he doesn't really cut it for me.
No, he's made by Van Dijk at the moment. He's made to look better by Van Dijk.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I know that happens with most centre backs, but I think it's really blatant with him. So I'd go with a D plus for them, because I don't think it's as bad as Chelsea, but it's not great. That's what I went with, D plus, and you went for B minus.
B minus.
Yep.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Who's next? Oh, another big club, Man United. Another one who's had a disappointing. They were in for Dybala at one point. They pulled out. In the end, they overpaid for Daniel James, in my opinion.
They were going in for Mandzukic at one point.
Yes.
I'm not too sure what they're.
Well, because they got rid of Lukaku in the end, obviously, which is massive.
I think that's I think that's a good deal, actually. They've got
I
for
do.
Lukaku.
I do.
73 million. And I know he got a lot of the goals, and they're going to, I think they're a bit thin at the top of the pitch.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I was
But
thinking. The only reason I gave them a C plus in the end was because Lukaku's a great way of getting rid, but then you didn't replace him with
didn't
someone.
replace him, yeah. And Valencia's gone, and I like the signing of Maguire, but
Herrera's gone as well.
Yeah.
I think Herrera's going to be someone they're going to miss, actually. He's like a real work engine for them.
Yeah. I like the focus on the defense, because I know the problems have definitely been in the defence for a while. I mean, they've got...
Oh, don't get me wrong, his main problem is Maguire worth 80 mil? No, but it's just because the demand was there. And that's the problem. That's why it's a C+, because they addressed areas they did, but I think they overpaid at both positions, but they did secure them for the future. But, you know... Sure. I think Maguire he's going to get a bit exposed at Man U because he's now under the most expensive defender of all time kind of tag. So he's going to have some microscopes on him. And bearing in mind that Van Dijk actually lived up to his price tag before, I don't envy him.
No, I don't either, to be honest.
And as for Daniel James, I don't really understand that one. But
I'm not sure, because I know he is a great young prospect, but paying 15 million for a player that they've seen not too much of, and I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what to make of that. I'm sure it'll prove worth in the end, but it'll take a few years for that to really sort of the results start to come through, basically.
Yeah. So, and I think overall it's not a terrible window, but I think they'd have expected more Man U, and I think that's because it's Man U and they want to get back up to that level. So overall, I think it's disappointing but passable. So C+.
Yeah.
And what do you go for?
I went for a B-.
Okay, yeah. So we're pretty much in the same area there.
Yeah.
Right. Who's next? Oh, I was hoping for a smaller club, to be honest, but Arsenal. In fairness, I'm excited about this one because I think this was brilliant. I think they've had their bet. It's an A-, and the
I'll
only
give
reason
them an A.
I'm thinking I'm going to change it to an A. I'm just looking at it now. I'm going to give them an A.
I think they've done it. They've had a great window.
Because I was going to say they lost Ramsey, but they replaced him anyway with Cabellos. So
I think that's a great deal as well on loan.
I might have butchered that name. I'm terrible with my pronunciations, but
Cabellos, whatever. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Pepe's on a tear. Saliba, and then Kieran Tierney, big fan. Big fan.
Big signing that.
And they got rid of Koscielny. Yeah, it was about 20 mil, I heard. It's not been confirmed, but
books there a little bit with the sales.
I think it was like 24 mil or something like that.
Yeah. And with the Iwobi signing 35 mil to Everton, I think that's quite.
You know what? Actually, I'm changing. I've just changed it to an A+, because Iwobi for 35 mil. Wow.
They've had the pants down there, I think.
I think Emery is turning Arsenal around. I think Arsenal are back. They're not at City or Liverpool level, but I think they're starting to get there. They're getting close. I think they've got the best attack in the league. Or one of.
Big shout.
One of. I think their defense is too weak right now, but I think they've got the best attack in the league right now. Lacazette up front, Aubameyang.
Yeah, they've got
Cabellos, Pepe.
Yeah, it's just making
scary.
Of all of them, yeah. It'll be interesting.
And Emery is a great manager, so watch out.
Very interesting to see
and a massive plus point, they got rid of Koscielny, who was blatantly disrespectful to that club. Didn't turn up for pre-season, demanded a leave, and then do you see the way he left? Do you see his post where he took off his Arsenal shirt and put on a board, and it was a Bordeaux shirt underneath?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was like a one last insult. So getting rid of him in the end. The only thing is they could have done with another centre back, but they did get Louise. I just thought one more would have pushed them over the top, but they did get Louise, and that for 8 mil means it's an A+ because. Considering what they needed, they took it away from a rival who was one of the teams that they needed to get above, clearly get above, and they've just done that by getting that for 8 mil.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Arsenal are really coming now. I think they're going to be. I think they're the only team I can see starting to build something that could challenge the top two eventually.
Yeah, I think they're certainly next on it because Chelsea was I think Chelsea were obviously there a couple of years ago, but they've fallen away massively, and now they're undergoing big problems. I don't think they're going to be. Really, I think they'll be fine, Chelsea, but I don't think they won't be like doing anything groundbreaking this year at all.
Do you know what would have been fascinating is if they'd got, because I put this as a question mark next to it. What if they'd got Cahill as well? They'd just taken two of Chelsea's centre backs. That would have been
that would have been
interesting
massive.
because I think it'd have been worth a gamble for Arsenal because your centre backs aren't super strong.
No, it's always been an issue for Arsenal with their defence in recent years, and that's something they need to address, and that's probably what's going to hold them back this season as it has in previous years. But it looks very promising going forward
for the first time in a long time. I think that's a really, really strong transfer window for Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely.
So watch this space. I think if you're an Arsenal fan, positive A+ and an A we've given you. Burnley next. I gave this one a B-.
B-. Burnley, I have. Let me just find it. Sorry, Burnley. I've given them a B. Actually, I think their business towards the end of the window is save them a little bit.
So Peters and Rodriguez. I really like this. Peters, Rodriguez, and Drinkwater.
Yeah.
All amazing, especially for Burnley's budget. Amazing signings.
Yeah, I think getting Rodriguez for $5 million is a great piece of business.
Yeah, I think that's. Is it $5 million? Let me just double check.
$5 million. It's $5 million, I think. Could be wrong, but
that's impressive.
I think
it's $10 million. $10 million.
Is it 10? I saw 5 on the. God, transfer market's let me down there.
Yeah, transfer market. Like I said to you earlier, is. Some of them are bang on. Like they got all of ours right, and then they got some other ones terribly wrong.
Yeah, strange. I was going to say Rodriguez. That really would have been a big buy. $10 million though. I still think. I mean, I guess that's probably about his value, maybe a bit more. But
I think they actually sneaked him a little bit there because I think some teams would have probably paid more for that.
Oh no, definitely. But I think in terms of West Brom,
I think it's because it was Burnley. They could get away with just underpricing it a bit.
But Peters for less than $1 million. I think they've done well there.
Peters was good. Yeah,
been a big fan of him at Stoke.
I think. You've seen some of his goals. Whew. I think, and Burnley are a team that need goals. So having a defender that can at least give you a couple is decent. Exactly. Drinkwater as well. I think desperately needed. However. There is one signing I put a massive question mark next to, which is Peacock Farrell.
2.5. Was it? Well, again, it's a transfer.
$2.5 million, and then they got rid of Heaton out the back door for $8 million. And I was like, well, Heaton's so much better than Peacock Farrell. What are you doing there? I know you got some money back for it, but you've got Pope and Hart there. Why do you need that third keeper to be Peacock Farrell?
He's not going to be doing anything there, Peacock Farrell.
And secondly, he's not good.
I think Leeds
are celebrating getting rid of him, to be honest.
They are.
Leeds fans are.
But I also think...
well, they're cheap. They're lack of depth now, aren't they, actually, to be fair?
That's what I mean. And I don't rate Casilla at all at Leeds.
He's a nutcase.
Honestly, I think he'll give a lot of those... I know we were touching the Championship territory here a little bit. I think he's going to give a lot of their fans a heart attack this year. I've seen him doing already.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, no. I've spoken to a Leeds fan before. He's not happy. I spoke to him the other day. He wasn't happy at all.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I give them a B- because I just think Heaton for Peacock Farrell, because otherwise it would have been like a B, but I just think that took it down a bit.
I gave him a solid B,
but I think there's just nothing like crazy to shout about, and I still think they're in trouble because I think Rodriguez is one of those that I don't think he'll show up especially for them, too much. Peters is a good upgrade, but Drinkwater is as well. But I just think, only 3 real considerable signings, it's like, is that enough? Because they were struggling last year.
Yeah, for sure. I've given them a B. I think they've had a solid window, but they've had a few strange signings, yeah.
Okay, up next, we've got another one of the big teams, Man City.
Yeah. I think they've had a pretty solid window. Well, they've had a few strange signings. I couldn't help but notice they've got Scott Carson in on loan.
I think that's purely to cover all bases there.
I know the reason behind it. I just think it's a strange choice.
It is. Anyway, I think it's just adding a veteran presence. I don't think it really adds much, to be honest.
But yeah, I think Cancelo and Rodri.
I gave them an A. Yeah.
I gave them a B+.
The reason
I just don't think they did a great deal. but they obviously don't necessarily need to.
Here's the thing, though. What I'd say is what they have over Liverpool is depth already, and they've just increased that. And by Liverpool not doing anything, that's why I've given them an A, because it's them combined with what Liverpool have done.
Yeah, because it's almost like a sort of two-way race at the moment, and they're definitely winning it in terms of.
I think that's given them a step ahead. So that's why I've given them an A, because that's what you need at this point in time, and they've achieved their goal.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Although I think Company going is obviously a bit of a loss, but they sort of knew that was on the cards anyway.
I mean, he wasn't playing too much for them anyway anymore.
No. I think he's a legend at the club, but I think they knew that was coming, as I say, and the elite level they need their players to be playing at these days. He's not always going to be cut out to do that, so I can understand why that's happened.
Okay, so I think we should probably. I'm just wary that we've been talking a while now. Let's speed it up a little bit. Who's next? West Ham. Oh, this is a tough one. I've given them a C plus. Because I'll be hands up. Outside of Haller, I don't really know the rest of them too much.
I've given them a C, just because again Haller, and they got 4-0 in, but
4-0 I don't know enough about to say.
Lost Perez, but and I think the main thing for me is they just had a lot of outgoings, like a lot. I was looking at it, and it's. I'm not sure what to make of West Ham actually.
I'm just gonna look into not that stats influence me, but I do know like a tiny bit about 4-0. So I'm just gonna look into it for a second. You keep talking. Sorry, what are you gonna say?
Yeah. Well, I've just comprehensive list of players. They've got like Gnosis, likes of Perez, Nasri. They've obviously loaned out quite a few players to the Championship, like Hugo and stuff, who are probably some of their players they want to keep hold of for the future. But so that's obviously what a lot of the outgoings are. But equally, it's very noticeable, like how many more they've got going out compared to some of their incomings, and they've not had any huge incomings really. They've not spent big, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But,
here's what I'd say is I think they lost Arnautovic, who was their big piece. And Carroll going's not a big loss. Haller coming in, I think they've overpaid for him, but I think it's still okay. I know you had to replace him with... The thing is, Haller's now under some serious pressure there. But he has been brought in, and he's actually... I think he's capable enough to give them some goals, obviously. Whether he gives them enough for 45 mil, tough to tell.
It's a bit of a... Yeah.
But 4-0, to be honest, I'm just looking into it a bit more. It doesn't majorly excite me.
No, I was looking at him. There's not a great deal I know about him, to be honest. But
well, I'm just looking at his stats from last season now. And like I said, stats on everything. But 28 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists, average rating of... Well, this is just from one of my trusted websites, but they gave him an average rating of 6.7 out of 10.
It's not
one man of the match.
Yeah, it's not anything.
78%
really,
pass success rate. I wouldn't say it's 24 mil or something to go crazy. But what I will say is I like what West Ham are doing. I like how they're building a team that's respectable enough. However, I just think they're just going to be stuck in the middle of the table, which is just their fate at the moment. I don't think they're in trouble. I don't think they're in trouble, but I don't think they're in for an exciting season. Sorry, West Ham fans.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, let's go again. Brighton. What did you think of this one? I in the end, this was going to be a low score, and it ended up being high.
Towards the end of the window, they really turned it around. I think I've given them a B plus.
Correct. Yeah, I have as well, because Moy, Maupay, Webster.
Really like that deal. Yeah, those are 3 I highlighted: Moy and Webster. 20 million is maybe quite a bit for Webster, but
I thought it was a bit much. But at the end of the day, I think they were just panicking and were like, "We need to get some players in," and I understand that.
I know it's been. Yeah, and Maupay I really like. I think that's a great signing. Graham Potter's going in the right direction with that. And I think that deadline day signing of Moy on the loan from Huddersfield is a great
Again, my Trossard I don't know enough about, to say, but I trust him because his other signings were good. So I assume that it's a decent one.
Yeah.
15 mil, we'll have to see, but why not? It's worth a punt. And the main reason we're giving them a B plus is just they didn't really get rid of too many big players either.
Yeah, exactly.
So they stayed up last year and they've improved. They've got bigger. I think the main thing was they just didn't lose anyone and they improved, and they have. So I'm gonna give them a B. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Graham Potter takes over from Chris Hughes, because I think Chris Hughes was a great manager. I know they probably
Yeah,
to him,
and I'm worried for them for that reason, because Potter actually, Swansea weren't a terrible team last year, and he didn't exactly. He played some nice football, but at the same time, you were like, it's not really winning football because they didn't. Well, obviously they didn't win enough games.
Yeah, I think definitely that's my main problem. Is they actually played some really good football. They played some of the best football in the league last year, but they weren't really. They were very hit and miss. And if you didn't in the Premier League to step up, so trying to do that, it's going to be difficult for him. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. But I think they've had a fairly solid transfer window.
Okay, who's next? Newcastle, your favourite, Duncan, since the manager.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I just.
I'm gonna let you go first because I'm assuming you've got a lot to say here.
No, you can go first. Honestly.
No. You go first. You go first. I'm interested.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of that window. I think he's been given a budget, hasn't he? Quite a hefty budget considering. And they've brought some pretty big.
Considering the circumstances, definitely, yeah.
They brought some pretty big signings in, but I'm still not convinced by them at all, really.
Do you know the thing is? Sorry, carry on.
Because they got obviously, I don't know how to say this guy's name.
Kraft.
Maximin. Kraft as well. He came in as well today. Joelinton, yeah. Like it's. Like they could pay off, but they're paying. Kraft is a good deal, I think, because they've not paid outright loads for him. But Saint Max, I don't know how to say his name. The double barrel. I'm guessing it's a French sort of name. But they paid a lot of money for him, so they're clearly relying on him quite a bit for that. He could pay off for it. And I'm just not confident in Bruce to get the best out of those players necessarily. This is going to sound like sour grapes, but I've never been. I think he's a great manager in the Championship, but he's always struggled with teams in the Premier League, and I think it'll be no different this year.
I've ended up giving them a C- in the end on mine because I agree with you.
I gave them a C.
I agree with you. I think he's part of the problem. Bruce, I don't think he's good enough for Premier League level. Sorry, Newcastle fans.
I mean, they know that as well. I think. They're all in agreement on that.
And I put next to Joelinton, like him, but 40 mil.
Yeah, that's the thing.
40 mil.
So lots of considering that's a good chunk of the budget he was given.
He better score at least 20 goals for you, Newcastle. That's all I'm saying. Or at least 15. Sorry, 15 goals. 40 mil is a lot of money. He needs to win you some games.
Yeah, so lots of going on, I think.
However, I love the Willems signing, Jetro Willems. I love that. I think that's great.
I think that was a good piece of business.
And that's what gave it a C- because Kraft, I'm not sure on. I think that could go either way.
Yeah,
I don't know enough about Saint Maximin or however you say it. And Joelinton, I think 40 mil, that's a lot. And they got rid of some good players in Perez, Josh Joselu.
I know Diarma's getting on a bit, but he's gone on a free.
And I just think Bruce. I just think that's what it's put it down to C- for me.
Yeah, I'm just not too sure how they. I think I'd be worried if I was a Newcastle fan this year. Still, even with some of the players they brought in.
Yeah, 100%. Who's next? Bournemouth. Gave them a C. I think this is a classic case. If they didn't get better, they didn't get worse. That's literally all I'm going to say.
I liked the loan deal of Harry Wilson. and I liked the Lloyd Kelly.
Yeah, but then they got rid of Ming. Not Ming, sorry.
Mings is a big loss for them, I think.
Yeah,
but they got a decent fee for him, 20 million.
They lost Mings, 20 mil for him, but then I was like, yeah. Then you lost Arter, who, yeah, not great, but he was important to them. So I just think they got better, but then they also got worse. Then they just stayed the same.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So C.
Yeah, I give them C plus.
I hate. Sorry, Bournemouth fans. I would talk more about it, but I genuinely just don't think it's that interesting. Your window, if I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah.
I think Wilson, like you say, is a great one. And then
just a quick touch on Musa. Actually, I could be proven wrong. I think they've had a pretty good deal for that.
I think they have. To be fair, I'm thinking 10 mil. In fairness, when you look at like how much other people have been paying for strikers, it's not crazy. But from what I've heard, in training, he's not been. I don't think he's been doing bad, but I don't think he's been, impressing either.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Everton, going to give them a B. It was going to be a B plus, but Iwobi is just. I think they've done him. I think they've done him.
I was giving him an A actually beforehand, but then I've now put them on a B because of that Iwobi deal. I'm not too sure.
I still think another one they could have done with a just a bit more, in fairness, actually, no, yeah, I think you're right. It's just that they overpaid for Iwobi.
I like Gay.
Look at it. They got rid of I think getting rid of Gay was a tough one as well.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
I thought he was good.
So you're always going to have these players that get coming out. You're not going to be able to.
Yeah. I think overall they recovered well, and I think Everton are headed in the right direction. The only thing I'd say is, I think Wolves have jumped you. I'm afraid, and we'll see that when it comes up. You got anything else to say on Everton?
No, I think they've had a pretty solid win. I like the signings they made.
Yeah, I honestly think they've got better.
Iwobi, I think Everton have a pretty solid season. I don't even know they're anything fantastic.
The only problem I think they have is just that everyone else except Chelsea got better around them or just stayed well enough in front of them.
Yeah, I agree.
So, who's next? Norwich.
This is
I gave this one a C because I really like the signing of Dermich. But then after that, I don't think anyone else was that crazily impressive to me.
I like the mentioning of Roberts, Amadou.
Do you like Roberts?
Yeah, it's not really a risk, is it? Because it's coming.
No, but that's what I mean. It's one of those ones where it's like I'm not really sure.
This is the thing with their signings.
They're relying on
Norwich fans. This could. Norwich is one of the teams I'm really. They're the team I don't know how they're going to do next year because I think they've made a lot of similar to last season. They've made a lot of shrewd signings. I mean, they're not shrewd yet. We'll have to see how they get on, obviously. But
I think Dermich is.
Dermich is definitely a big signing. I like that on a free. And they've brought Sam Byram in from West Ham, haven't they?
Farman as well, to be fair.
I think they've had this could prove to be a very decent window if it pays off. But if it doesn't, they'll look like fools.
Don't know enough about Amadou from Sevilla, but
I think that's a decent signing. Actually, I think that's quite a good piece of business.
Yeah, the thing is, what I'd say is, I just don't think bringing in their squad wasn't that. I hate to say it's Norwich fans. I think your manager got the best out of that squad last year. I don't think, and they had a bit of luck, like all of us do. But I just don't think they're good. Good enough. I think they're in trouble. They lost Pinto as well, didn't they?
I don't think that's a big loss there, really. He's been there a while. He's just
other than that, no one. In fairness, they didn't lose anyone other than him.
No, I didn't think any of their out games are big losses at all. Really.
No, so I think the question over Norwich is I've given them a C, and the thing is, Norwich fans, you could come in and say to me, and I think this is fair, and I wouldn't be able to argue with you necessarily, is you did well last year, and you've added to the squad, so you have got better. But I just think you've kind of stood still, whereas, well, no, you've not stood still, but you've got forward. But I just don't think you've made that leap. But I don't think you've made the leap enough to get you out of the relegation zone. We'll see, but I think you're in trouble.
B, actually, I think I honestly don't know. I mean, I've done a bit of boring prediction, giving them a B because
I think they've been good. Sure. I think they've been smart with their buying, but I just think they could have bought a bit more.
I think they're a bit. I think there was a little bit naive, the policy of like trying to spend any money. I get it. I respect not
Yeah,
trying
like
to spend
the stuff like
you've
not
got to
not
spend
not
money in the
not
Premier
not
League.
not paying for roads. I was like, come on, you're a Premier League team. Like,
yeah, I'm just going to say that you were never going to get Jordan Rhodes on a free with.
And secondly, I don't know why
they.
No offense, I don't know why they wanted Rhodes anyway for the Premier League.
I don't. He didn't do much for them last year, really.
No,
and I can't see him doing much in the Premier League. I mean, Farke could clearly see something in him, fair enough, and he's.
but that's what I mean. That's what makes me worried because I think Dermot, you're like brilliant. Like I can't fault that. Farman, I'm thinking that's pretty good. You say Roberts, I'm not sure. I think that's one of those classic ones where you. Well. Yeah, Amadou. Byram, don't know. Have to wait and see. I think a lot of it with them is literally how I'd summarize it is it's wait and see, isn't it? It's just wait and see. I know it is with all of them, but I think with Norwich especially, it's this, like you say, it could be brilliant. I think it's one of two, to be honest. I think it's really good or really bad, and I'm leaning a bit more towards the bad.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but there's no risk involved in it, really.
No,
anyway,
no. There's other than them maybe being in the relegation zone if they haven't got it right. Who else is there? Villa. Villa's next.
Is that the? Have we still got Watford, Southampton?
We've got Leicester, Wolves, Watford, Sheffield United, and Southampton left.
Pretty busy, and I'm going to give them a B+ because signings, but it's a big risk if it goes wrong, because they've spent. I think they were at one point the top spenders in the Premier League.
They've spent.
That's making a statement of intent, and I respect that. But I don't know. The outgoing, they've not made much in terms of outgoing, so they've basically just spent 125 mil outright.
Here's what I'd say. I don't like hate any of their signings. I think all of them are okay. Are they? I think they've actually. In fairness, actually, what I would say is I think they're safe with these signings.
I think
and their base, their outgoings basically just made them get younger. So they got rid of all their old players. So in fairness, I gave them for that reason alone, and the fact that the only thing is they spent a lot of money, but I don't think they necessarily overpaid for anyone. Maybe Wesley
accumulated.
Yeah, but the amount of business they've done, and I'm a big fan of Dean Smith, so I'm going to give it a B.
I'm going to give it a B+.
I think that's good. They've done some good business there, and I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right, let's carry on. Leicester, I've gone with a B because I think it's actually a B+ in the end because I thought they got way too much from Maguire, but I think they played it brilliantly. And then they just got rid of any other noticeable ones. They got rid of Okazaki and Simpson. And I've always thought Okazaki's been a bit meh, and same with Simpson. And then they brought in Perez, probably a bit too much for 30 mil, but I like it still. And they got in Tielemans, which I think is brilliant. I'm a big fan of him.
I gave them a B- actually. I wasn't overly impressed by Leicester.
Honestly, I think Tielemans is going to be so good. I think Tielemans is going to be so. And Pryor, I've heard Pryor was being sought after by AC and Inter Milan, getting him for 18 mil, decent.
Yeah, doesn't he come through? He came through today, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it looked like I think that would be exciting.
And then they got a guy from Luton Town, but I don't know how much he's going to play. James Justin.
That's the thing. It's obviously I like to think that's a good sign. I like to see the signings coming in, but realistically, is he going to play in the Premier League, make the jump from? Because essentially, he's making the jump from League One to the Premier League.
He could. I mean, Dele Alli did it, didn't he?
I guess so.
By the way, I'm not saying he is Dele Alli, but it could happen, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I just think getting 80 mil from Maguire. The only thing that made me not give them a actually, I'm not going to give them a B+. I'm going to give them a B because I just think they needed a centre back. They needed to sign a centre back with that. But
yeah, definitely.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, a B for them. But I think Leicester, if I were you, I'd be excited. I think you're gradually progressing. I don't think you're going to be doing anything crazy this year, but I think you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I like Brendan Rodgers enough. Up next, I think this is honestly I think you're probably going to be shocked by this one. But this is probably one of my favourite clubs for what they've done. Wolves.
Really?
Yeah.
I was a bit sort of underwhelmed with it. I don't think they did awful, but I wasn't really impressed. I saw the Jimenez coming in, Vallejo.
I think
feel it's a bit like
every single person they brought in pretty much from those kind of clubs just proved to be good. And Dendoncker, I'm a massive fan of.
yeah, the players they brought in, they should be.
And what I'd
I
say
think
is
they've definitely added to what they already have.
And what I'd say is, you look at all those players, and then you go, who have they got rid of? Helder Costa and Caballero, who weren't really getting too much game time anyway.
And they weren't ripping it up in the Premier League. But I do think getting rid of Costa's, obviously, I don't think it's a bad piece of business necessarily, but I think he is a good player. Definitely, they've lost there, but.
I think we need to probably speed up, by the way, because I don't know how we're even going to get around to championship teams of the rate we're on. Wolves are, all I'm going to say is Wolves are coming. That's for sure. Right, that's brutally, I'm going to have to not really cover my own team that much, to be honest, in the end. But in fairness, I don't think we've had the most exciting window. I gave us a B, just a B. I think we could have done another centre-back, another centre-back, another right-back. But overall, I'm just going to cover it briefly. I think we've done good business. I don't think we've overpaid for anyone other than. Well, actually, I say we haven't. I think we've overpaid for McBurney and Musset.
McBurney, you've overpaid.
But everyone else, I think we've done great business.
The signing I'm biggest fan of is Callum Robinson and Rebel Morrison. I like both of his signings.
I don't know how good he is, in full disclosure, but I like how we put Verrips in because I was worried that Henderson was or bust for our goalkeeping. So I would have liked to have seen another centre back, and I would have loved to have seen Holgate come in, but we'll.
A right wing back is definitely top of the priority in my opinion.
Yeah,
he never seems to address that.
The only thing I can assume is that we're looking at putting Osborne on the right. I don't know, or we're trusting in Baldock. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. But anyway, I give him a B as well.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Just Southampton and Watford.
Southampton, I'm literally sorry, Southampton fans, but you're a C for me. I just think meh.
I've be giving them a B minus.
I like their two signings, but then I don't like they've got rid of Austin.
They've not done a lot though, have they? Austin's gone.
And by the way, I absolutely love Che Adams. I think he's brilliant. However, considering how much you struggled last year, I think you need to do more. And you've spent 30 mil on two players, which I don't necessarily think are going to be enough to take you to safety.
No, I'm not sure they will either.
Because Che Adams is great, and he can win a game for you, but he also goes missing in a lot of games.
Yeah, if he's not scoring, he's not really contributing a great deal in my
No,
opinion. And especially at the Premier League, it's a big jump. So, but I gave them a B minus. I also think I think this is sort of like a positive / negative. I put the sale of Matt Target.
For 11 mil.
I think they've done pretty well there.
Yeah. I can't fault that. Much. They lost Stephen Davis on a free there, and I think he's okay. That was the only one I'd say. And Geordie Classy's been okay as well. So I think it's just an average transfer window. See, Watford. Sorry, I'm gonna have to fly through you because we're time. You've spent a lot of money on Sarr. You got Welbeck on a free.
Welbeck on a free. I think that's a good piece of business. And Craig Dawson from West Brom is actually.
I gave them a B minus because I just think. Good signings. They didn't really lose too much. So they're getting better, but I just don't think... How I'd describe it, Watford, is you've got better, but I don't think you've jumped anyone.
No.
So B minus.
I went for a solid B. I thought they had a pretty decent window, nothing special.
All right. That's through that. Sorry that we had to rush towards the end, but we want to...
Probably have to win through championship.
We're going to have to, but what I will say is we're going to spend... We've got more time on the championship results, so we are going to talk through that. So let's just... Maybe we should just... I'm just going to actually... you start on the championship grades, and I'll just... If I disagree with you, I will say... How about we do that? Because that way it goes faster.
Okay, yeah.
Well, because I think we agree on most of the championship stuff, to be fair. Because I think when we were talking earlier, it seems that we do. Whereas Premiership was a bit more where we were a little more different.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I'll start when... I'll just go in alphabetical order, really. We're at Barnsley.
Just getting them up now. You carry on.
Yeah. Basically, I think Barnsley, I like some of their signings they put in, but they've also lost quite a few key players. They've lost Adam Davis. They've lost Isgrove. They lost Pinnock. Lost Kiefer Moore. They've lost quite a few key players that they had. But they've also brought. I like some of the signings they brought in, and they lost their big centre back to Liam
Pinnock
to Stoke.
They lost
and
Pinnock as well.
Brentford, yeah, they lost both of them, which is I know they've got money for them, but you can't just leave that as a void there. And they're a net selling club, and that's never a good thing, really, when you're a newly promoted side.
The thing I'd say is Kiefer Moore as well. He was on fire for them.
Kiefer Moore, yeah, I think they're going to miss him. And I've actually given them a B minus. I think they've had not had an awful window, but I think they've because of the sales they've been doing. I think they're weak. I think they're about the same. As they were. Maybe
I gave them a C plus. But I agree with all your points. So yeah.
So I'd give Birmingham a B because B minus because obviously I like the signings they brought in from Dynamo Zagreb, the Croatian Sunjic for about 7 million. I think they've paid quite a bit for him there. But
I liked it though.
Jimenez for 1.35. I think that's all right. Dan Crowley, they've brought some decent players in here, but they've struggled to replace the likes of Hotter, Adams, and Morrison, I think. And so I think they're ultimately B minus. I think considering the losses they've done all right. They've recovered well, but they've still got a lot to do.
I think they're okay. I don't think they're going to do anything massive this year.
No.
It is a wide open championship though, and the championship's always unpredictable, so I can't write them off completely.
No, you can't. But we'll see what happens. Next up, got Blackburn. Just trying to find where I've come for you. So I actually think they've done quite a good bit of business on the last day. Actually, Sam Gallagher coming in, 5 million. I think that's quite good. Actually, did he come in on the last day? He might not have. They have to correct me on that if I'm wrong. But regardless, the signing is good. 5 million. It's maybe a bit much, but I think they've done well. He's only 23. And they obviously brought Bradley Johnson already. I've mentioned in the previous podcast. Stuart Downing, experienced players, can't hurt because they're on a free. Greg Cunningham, what a signing that is! Top left back. I've seen a lot of Preston fans angry at that.
You made me jump by the way then because you said Greg so loudly. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's a top left back. And they've got him. I think on loan from Cardiff. That's a really good deal there because he really impressed at Preston last year. They said it was the best left back they've seen in years. And wow. I think they're good not to get him back. So overall, Blackburn, I'd probly give you a B. I'd have to say.
Their business, like Bradley Johnson as well. Like okay, Stuart Downing's old. Hard to tell. Yeah. Sam Gallagher though, decent. I just think it makes me worried because I do think my prediction of them getting relegated is looking more questionable now. But
I definitely don't agree with that. At all, unfortunately.
Sadly, but we'll see. But anyway, I agree with you on the grade. Sorry.
Yeah, and moving on after that, we've got
Brentford.
Brentford, I believe. Brentford.
I've given them a decent.
Big spenders.
I think I give them an A minus.
A minus, I guess. Yeah. The big loss obviously is more pay, but they've more than replaced. Yeah, they've brought.
They got a lot of money in. They got a good decent amount of money for him, and they got they got a lot of good money. They got a lot of good money.
They're sticking to the policy of youth, and they've not spent loads on any individual players really.
No.
It's just they've bought a lot. That's basically what it is. And Pontus Jansson.
But at the same time, they've still made a lot of money in the outgoings.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And they got 18 million for
it. They got 12 for Conser.
Yeah, Sawyer's for 3, Bentley for 2. They've actually there's still probably a net. They've probably still made a bit of profit there actually. So they've had a really good window. I've given them an A minus. Just because they lost a few of their big players,
I really think they're in for a good season this year. If you're a Brentford fan, I think you're really in for a shout. A minus. I think you're doing really well. Bristol.
Yeah.
Right. Let's try and. Sorry, guys. I'm
Yeah.
conscious that you're running out of time, aren't you? So
Yeah. Bristol City, I've given them a B. I think the big losses of Webster.
I think Bentley's a
Kelly.
great signing.
Bentley's a great signing. They've also got a Phobie on loan, I think, from Stoke, which I like.
I think it's undisclosed, isn't it? Is it?
Is it? I thought it was
I've got.
loan.
I don't know. You might be right.
No, I think yeah. And then
in fairness, I'm reading from the Sky Sports website, so it's undisclosed.
Callas. Well, I think it's probably right in that case. And then obviously they got Callas and De Silva in from Chelsea for 10 million combined. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I think that was nice.
I think they've got some good signs.
I think they're in with a shout. I think they're in with a. I'm worried with predicting them in 10th now. To be honest, I think they're a playoff team. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I do. I think I put them just outside, didn't I? But I think I can see them sneaking in there, definitely. Yeah.
Cardiff, I gave them a B minus in the end because I like Volks.
Anyway.
I'm not sure about Flint. And the rest, the rest just didn't excite me, to be honest. The rest of them, so B minus for me.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm being honest, Cardiff fans, I think you've got rid of Kadeem Harris, who looks really good. Zahore's gone. I just don't see the way you score enough goals this season. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we actually disagree quite a bit here. I've given him an A minus, Cardiff. I think
really.
I think they've had a really solid window because I saw they signed Marlon Pack on deadline day. They got the Bristol City captain there on a 3-year deal. I think that's a really good piece of business.
I've never really noticed him though, if I'm being brutally honest.
No, I think he's a really good signing. Flint is very solid. Galatzol, I'm not sure. 5.5 million. That's a bit much, maybe, but you could do the business.
I think they're good.
I
think they're good defensively. I'm just not sure they're good going forward, and you need goals. I think they're the Middlesbrough of last season, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think they are a little bit. Yeah, I'm not too sure. They got rid of Bobby Reid. I have no idea why they would do that. Really,
Bobby
Fulham as well, a championship rival.
To Bobby,
and they've loaned that Greg Cunningham, two of their better players. I'm not sure about that. But they brought Isaac Vassell in, who's he's still fairly young, but he's been very injury prone. So I've given him an A minus. I could drop that down to a B plus, but I've given him an A minus. I think there's a pretty solid window actually.
Yeah. I've given them a C. Charlton. I just thought it was. I don't think they've improved enough.
I think I've given them a C minus because I think although they've made a lot of good sales and they've brought some new faces in, it's nowhere near enough to keep them up. I think they'll be roots to the bottom of the table. They've lost all their key players, and a lot of the core group they went up with last year were loan players that they haven't managed to get back. I think they're in trouble, unfortunately. C.
I think that's looking better and better. Our prediction of them being bottom, to be honest. I'm sorry to say, Charlton fans.
Yeah, I do like Charlton as well, but
I actually think them losing Bauer.
Bauer's a big loss,
yeah. Yeah, to Preston.
As well as Preston, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that's a smart move.
No. Then we've got Derby. Can we just talk about Wayne Rooney for a minute, because that was just.
I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because the thing is, I think they really need to get in a position where they're good enough before Rooney comes in. Because I think that's great, but I'm just not sure they're going to be in a position to push.
No,
I don't know.
They got Jamie Paston on loan, Kieran Dowell on loan. They're both good signings.
Who's going to be their keeper, by the way?
It'll be the guy they had. Was it Roos? They had Roos last season.
I should know that, to be fair, but I just can't remember it off the top of my head right now. Because we just chat. I don't have their squad up in front of me, and I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
They were playing Roos a lot last year, but I don't know who they replaced for Carson. So for Derby, I've ended up giving him a B minus, I think.
I gave them a B minus because I said if Rooney'd come in the summer, it'd have been a B plus, because I think that's exactly the kind of player you need.
Yeah.
But I think it's him coming in late is tough.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of an odd deal, that, but it did give me a chuckle a little bit when I saw that.
Fulham, I've given an A plus. I think they're in. I think they're in the business.
I've given them an A. I think they've given him an A. I like the signing of They've got Arthur, on loan. They've got
I just
Bobby
think
Reed on
all their ins are great.
all their ins are great. Yeah,
If
they've
I'm
lost
honest.
a few big players out, but
then you look at their team, what it was like before. Anyway, it's
what I will say is that a lot of their fans are getting very excited about Josh Onoma, and I'll tell you as a Wednesday fan, he failed to impress me at all last season. But he's on a free
he went
transfer.
missing a lot. He's
on a free transfer, but I can't see him doing much for you.
I thought he was terrible for you, to be honest. I
really didn't rate him.
No, I thought he was a massive disappointment.
One of the major positives of Bruce going is that we wouldn't pursue that deal because he was willing to pay multi-million pounds apparently from Onoma. And I was just baffled by that. I didn't understand why he would do that. And they're getting on a free, so fair play to Fulham for that. I give them an A.
Yeah, very good. Huddersfield, tough one, but I think they're C. I went C.
I've given them a B minus.
I went C. I was torn between C and C plus. I could argue C plus. I like Elphick.
I like Mbenza. I like Elphick.
Mbenza's good,
especially.
I like Reece Brown actually from Forest Green. I think it's a decent one.
Yeah, it could be all right, especially at such a young age as well. But other than that,
I just think them getting rid of Moy at the end is just basically them throwing in the towel almost.
Yeah, a little bit, and they've got a very good fee for billing actually, 15 million for. I don't know what Bournemouth are doing.
Yeah.
There, really.
Then they got I can't remember how to say his name, but Lossell's gone to Everton, hasn't he?
Yeah, Lossell's gone to Everton on a free as well.
And Durham left.
Yeah, Durham's gone.
I just don't know.
I think I've given them a B minus because I just don't think.
I gave them a C because
towards the end it pulled them down.
I just think they've now written themselves out of being promoted again.
Yeah, definitely. Hull, I've actually been really impressed with Hull's window. I've given them a B plus. I think bringing in George Honeyman's a great little deal they've done there.
Yeah, I like that one.
And I think, to be honest, the main.
I like Matt Ingram as well. To be fair,
Matt Ingram's a good buy. Yeah, and I like the appointment of Grant McCann. Actually, I think that's quite a positive appointment. The managerial role, and also I think the main two pieces of business that you've done well here, Hull fans, is keeping hold of Bowen and Grzycki.
Yeah, I'm still amazed by that.
I'm astounded they have no interest at all, really.
In fairness, I think the thing is they didn't really do anything when they stayed at the end of the season. So I think in the end, they didn't do anything, but I don't think they just did enough to get themselves noticed. So Hull fans, be thankful that you didn't have a too crazy end to the season because meant you kept two of your best players. Well, two of your best players.
I think they could be. I think they'll be safe next year, definitely.
Yeah, I think they should be comfortable.
I think they'll be comfortable. I don't think they're challenging top six necessarily, but I think they'll be doing all right. They'll be sort of up mid-table.
Next one, Leeds.
I've actually given them a B minus.
I just don't think they brought anyone in substantial over there. Nketiah is okay,
I really don't like.
I was shocked by that. Yeah,
I don't like their top of the pitch transfers.
Lost Janssen as well.
They lost Janssen. I think they're weaker than last year, without a shadow of a doubt.
They got Jack Clark back. They sold him and then loaned him back.
And they've made a fair bit of money. They balanced the books, but they've not really.
They lost Saiz as well, haven't they?
I still, Leeds fans, let me know what you think about this, but I think to this day you've failed to replace Saiz in your squad. And I know you rave about Hernandez, and yes, people argue he's the best player in the league, and he could well be, but the teams, it's got to be based around more than one player.
I just don't think they have enough now. I had them going up, and I don't anymore. I gave them C. I gave them a D plus in the end because I think they've done themselves in.
I gave them a B minus. I don't think they were awful, but they definitely are.
I don't think they've got good enough. I think they've got worse. And for that reason, because you're trying to get promoted right now, and it's a weak championship overall, I just think you got to give them I had to give them a D on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas Luton, on the other hand,
I have given a B plus.
Yeah, for that. Same here. I was impressed. I don't know about the players they lost, to be fair. So, full disclosure, Luton fans, I didn't follow you enough last year.
Same, actually. I don't know a great deal about some of the players they've gone to the likes of the Premier League, like Leicester.
James Justin and Jack Stacey both going to the Premier League.
for 10 million. They've done all right there for combined. And they've lost like Aaron Jarvis, Alan McCormack, Luke Gambin, but they've
I
also
like who
got.
they've brought in though. I think they mean business, as in
Oh
to stay
God,
up.
I had no idea. I was just looking at one of their transfers. I had no idea they brought James Bree in on loan.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a really good piece of business.
Mhm.
Is he Brown? Is he God?
Yeah.
What? I'm actually going to put you up to an A, Luton fans.
I don't think they're that good. Those two signings, to put it that way. Okay.
I think Izzy Brown is a good sign. James Bree. They also brought Martin Craney in, Callum McManaman, and Jacob Butterfield, all experienced Championship players. And I think you'll stay up this year. I think you will. Brendan Galloway from Everton, Sluga, the club record fee for a goalkeeper. I think they've had a pretty good win now. I'll give them an A.
Yeah.
A minus. I'll put A minus.
Right. Next, Middlesbrough. Full disclosure, I don't know too much about some of the players you brought in, but what I will say is I'm going to give you I think I'm going to give him a C plus.
I gave him a C.
I think you've just stood still, to be honest, Middlesbrough.
I'm not going to lie to you, Borough fans. I just think you had a really boring window.
I just think they were boring. I don't mind you, Borough fans, but I just think your club's the way the players there at the moment and the way you were playing last year. I just think you're boring right now.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I like the signing of Bowler from Blackpool. That's a good signing. The right back.
Yeah.
But they've lost Flint, which I'm not too sure why they've done that. I think they spent a lot of money on them last year, and they've sold them for half that. I don't understand that at all, really. But anyway,
it'll be interesting to see what you think for this one. Millwall, I went B.
Millwall.
Actually, I went B plus in the end. B plus.
I've also given them a B, actually. I think they've had a pretty solid window.
I think they're safe in the end, which is annoying because I predicted them to get relegated as well.
I predicted them to get relegated, but now I think they might be, because they've got John Daddy Bob Varson, Conor Mahoney, who else they brought in? Bielkowski, Matt Smith. So I think all these players are going to do well for them. I think. And they've strengthened all areas of the pitch. So I like that.
Right, we're going to have to.
But yeah,
we're going to have to. Yeah, I think they're. You know what, Bill? I think you're good. As in you're better. I don't think you're good though overall.
Yeah.
Forest.
I've given a B for them.
Yeah, same here.
Well,
I'll let you talk about this one because you know this one better than me. Really, I'll let you talk.
I don't know a great deal about it, to be fair, but I think a lot of they basically just sort of. They have just balanced each other out with the incoming out games. It sounds a bit stupid, but they brought a lot of great players in, and they've got some smart signings in on the free, like Albert Adonis, Sammy Aviovi. On frees, there's no real risk of them. They've also brought Semedo on from Benfica on loan. I like that. They've got Rafa Mir from Wolves on loan, I believe, the young Spaniard. I think that's a really good deal. And I'm not a fan of Muri goal. I mean, he had a shocker. Against West Brom, it was one of those laughable goalkeeping appearances I've seen in a long time. But,
it was bad. It was bad, wasn't it? It wasn't great.
That first goal in particular was, and then Anyway, we're not talking about the match yet, but lost Ben Osmond. I think you've got a decent fee for that. He's 24, but 3.5 million. It's not awful. He's never really set the world alight for us. I think it's a good deal for both parties, really. They've also, the people have got, they've lost quite a few players. Nothing too awful. I've just given it a B, really.
Right, next.
Yeah.
Preston. I'll do Preston. How about we alternate because it's gonna go quicker. Yeah. I'll do Preston. Yeah. Preston, I thought B minus. Did you agree with that?
I gave them a C.
So kind
I like
of.
Bayliss and Green, but other than that, I think they had a very.
I think Bauer's decent, but
they missed out on Cunningham. in my opinion. And they lost Robinson. I think that's struggled to.
I think Nugent. I'm not sure if Nugent's going to do anything for them.
Nugent's a bit of a throwback signing for them. Yeah. They all love it, but I'm not sure he's going to do the business.
And then obviously, I like Bauer. I just think they're another classic team who's not really got any better. They're just.
I think they've got slightly worse, if anything.
Yeah.
They're not going to be in trouble.
So you do QPR.
QPR. I've given QPR an A. I think I've been really impressed with their window. They've got a host of players in.
I gave them a B plus, but I know why you gave them an
A. But they've
actually no, I gave them an A minus. Sorry.
Hugill, and they brought Wells in on deadline day as well on loan.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. Smart.
and they've brought a whole host of new players in. They lost Luongo to my club, Sheffield Wednesday, which I'm over the moon about. They got $1 million for that. I think he's a solid player. I'm not too sure. They couldn't agree with a deal with him, but yeah, I think overall they've had a pretty. You know, brought Jordan Hugill in, and Johan Barbet. I'm a big fan of that on a free from Brentford. You know, they've brought some solid players in there. I like your window keeper. I think you could surprise you this year. I think you could be doing quite well actually.
Yeah, I think they should be hopeful. I think they should definitely be hopeful.
Yeah. Reading next.
Reading, I'm going to give them a B. I think you overpaid Vijay, but you needed him, so I'm going to say fair play for that. However, I think Barbosa coming in was nice. Puskas, like that one.
I've actually given Reading an A. I think towards the end they just did.
I think they've bolstered their squad. I can see why you've gone A. The only reason I went B is because I just don't think it's going to take them up to the top half. As in, what I mean is, I don't think it's going to. Top 6 is what I meant to say. I don't think it's got them there. So it's a B.
No, I don't think they'll be top 6 either. But they could surprise people. I think Jose Games is a good manager.
Absolutely.
Puskas, you know, I just find I'm just baffled by Reading. I don't understand it. You know, they were under a soft transfer embargo. They were on a really low budget and saying, and they're like, okay, we'll lift you under the embargo. Just don't go too crazy. And straight away they've gone and splashed, you know, 11 million on Zhao and Puskas.
I love it. But I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out.
Charlie Adam, I like these signings
because I think they're in danger of maybe slipping towards that relegation zone, and I think they've just stopped that completely now.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right now. Actually, I'm glad I put them a bit above anyway. Whereas people were doubting me with that before.
You get right. You talk about your team. Go on.
Yes, Sheffield Wednesday. I've actually given us an A. I think we've had a really good window for once. For the first time in a long time, we've had a good window.
I gave you a B+ just because you missed out on Hector.
Yes, that is the one. I'm gutted about Hector. But realistically, I'm actually kind of proud of the club for not having gone in for him in a weird way, because $5 million for a guy with 1 year left on his contract who's never played for his parent club and never will, in my opinion.
You recovered well.
Disgraceful on their part. I don't understand why they were being so stubborn about it. $5 million is nothing to them compared to
considering they let David Luiz walk for 8. I thought that was.
I think it's a bit ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, we got in. Jacob Murphy on loan. I think that's. People slate Murphy. He's on loan at the end of the day. It's not a risk, and he's a player we've been crying out for in years. So I think I'm all for it. We brought strength and depth at centre back with Bates coming over from Hamburg. I think that's a really good signing. Not as good as I would have liked Hector, but he's younger than Hector and he's got a lot of potential. And people call him, I think, and Luongo I really like from QPR, only $1 million.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little signing at the end.
And I really like the Zhao sale because we're very top heavy and we need to it's hard to keep all the strikers happy. I would have ideally liked to see another striker go out actually just to bring in a bit more funds, and we could have maybe got Hector, who knows. But and obviously Kadeem Harris looks a real gem. Moses Odebajo, I was really excited about it, but I wasn't. I went to the Reading game. He didn't have the best debut, I must say. Mm-hmm. He was okay. But he got caught out a few times.
We'll get into the games anyway properly in a bit. Yeah,
and then Bournemouth looks very solid. So yeah, I've given us an A. I think we've had a solid window.
Right. Yep. I agree with that. A B+, but I can see why you put an A. Stoke, I went with in the end. I thought another B+.
B+, yeah, I went for that.
I thought I'll literally just rattle through this quickly. Sorry, Stoke fans, but. I don't like your Carter Vickers signing. Other than that, though, but you did need some defensive work, so I understand that. I love your Duffy signing. I think that's going to be great for you. I'm
a bit meh on that. I'm not sure if that's going to work out for them.
I think it gives them that. I think it gives them that creativity. And then you just look at some of the other players: Tommy Smith, Nick Powell, Lee Gregory,
Adam Davis is a solid signing thing.
I just think they've already got a decent squad and they've got better. I don't know why Ndiaye decided they didn't want to come to Sheffield United, but here, but you got rid of. Berahino's gone on everything and Nefobi's gone, but I think overall you've not done too bad there. You lost Peters as well, but I think Stoke you can be happy.
Yeah, and it's a different approach. They've definitely
which is they needed to do.
Yeah.
Swansea next.
Swansea, where are you? I've given you a C actually.
Yeah, I did too. I thought they just stood still, really. because they didn't get a striker in properly.
You lost McBurney, and you lost James. Money for his players, but at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it until January now. And I'm not sure how. I'm sure this new coach. Forgive me, I don't actually know. I've forgotten his name. The new coach they got coming in, the former England coach. But
Cooper, isn't it? It's something Cooper.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll play some good football for you. But I think he'll just be a carbon copy of last season, probably even worse, if anything. Which is weird because I actually put you in 8th last week. That's before you got rid of McBurney.
Steve Cooper, that's it.
Steve Cooper, yeah. I think you could surprise me, people, but I think as a window you've gone this.
I just think Swansea, you've just you're no longer like when teams come down, you still got that chance of going back to the Premier League. I just think their window's shut already. I hate to say it when Swansea.
Similar to Hull in a way.
Yeah, I don't think you're going back anytime soon.
No.
West Brom, I'll do. I gave them an A.
I gave them an A
because it wasn't going to be, and then they just suddenly got Charlie Austin and Zohore. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and I think you've just booked yourself a ticket back. But we'll see. It doesn't always work out that way.
Shout, yeah. Big shout, but yes, I agree.
Doesn't always work that way, but I think
Rodriguez, and they didn't get Gale back, but and they obviously haven't got Barnes, but
But then they replaced him with Austin and Zohore, and I think Austin's good enough to replace him.
And they got something like 16 million for Rondon. I was amazed by that.
Yeah.
I was a bit baffled by that, but anyway, that's a good job on your part, West Brom, and they've obviously got Bilic at home.
And then you look at everyone else and you go, I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly, Bilic. And you look at everyone else who went, you're like, I don't think there's anyone massive there other than Dawson, like you said.
Yeah.
All right, and final one, Duncan, Wigan, and then we're moving on.
Wigan, I have given a C+. I think they've lost Powell and they've lost McManaman.
But they got Kiefer Moore in.
These are two positive signings: Kiefer Moore and Jamal Lowe from Portsmouth. I think I'm very impressed they managed to beat every other club to the signature of Jamal Lowe.
Yeah,
a lot of clubs have been chasing him, and they got him for a fairly moderate fee. Actually, wasn't too bad considering the competition they were playing. But
giving away Callum McManaman was a strange one.
I thought. Sure. And
I say Powell. And then a De Silva Lopez to Hull.
I think they'll be struggling. I still think they're going to get relegated.
I now regret not putting them in the relegation zone. I think they're getting relegated. Sorry,
I think, yeah.
I put you as a C-. I think you're in trouble.
They did win 3-2 last week, but opening day is always an odd one.
Yeah, you can't put too much stock into it, can you?
Bolton beat West Brom at the Hawthorns on the opening day last season. Look what happened there, unfortunately, for Bolton fan. Sorry to remind you, but not that you're probably tuning into this podcast because you know I'm in the Championship. But anyway, and I feel like they probably thought I was rubbing salt in the wind there. I wasn't. Sorry. Anyway, yes, I'll move on quickly.
Right. We finally got through the Drake grades. Apologies, that was not supposed to take that long, but well. In fairness, I mean, we're supposed to be an in-depth podcast. We just love talking football, so anyone who's still with us probably enjoys us talking it anyway. So I won't apologise. Taken back.
Yeah.
Up next, the results. Let's go through it then, shall we? Literally, all we're going to do is, because we're running low on time, we were going to talk through them in more in depth. But we're just going to play a game called Take It or Leave It, which is basically, is the result something you take to your bank or not? Do you trust the result, essentially? Do you think it shows where those teams are? And we're going to go through what we predicted and the end results. So we'll start off with the Friday night game, which was a mad one for anyone who watched it.
Crazy game, yeah.
I predicted a 2-1 win for Borough. Duncan went for 1-1. Yeah. It was 3-3, so Duncan Sly got a point there.
Yes, get in.
Which I'm sure he didn't expect to get in that manner. But what were your take it or leave it, Duncan? Luton Borough.
I'd take that. I think both teams. I think we'll cancel each other out. Yeah, at this stage of the season, definitely.
I'd take that as well because I don't think Borough have got better, and I think Luton are definitely a better team than people are thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're better than people think they are.
So yeah, I think that's a fair result.
Yeah, same.
And it was a good game. Loved watching it.
It was a really good game. Yeah, great game. Some great goals as well.
Up next was Wigan Cardiff. I predicted a 1-0 win, and you predicted it for Wigan. You did it for Cardiff. So I got a point there.
Yeah.
And it was 3-2.
Yeah,
which was a
crazy
shock.
game.
If I'm honest, when I predicted it, I wouldn't have expected to get a point by winning 3-2.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the
Wouldn't
only
have
way I
thought
thought Wigan could win was a 1-0. Take it
Yeah,
or leave it. I'm going to leave it
I'm gonna
because
leave
I
that.
just think that's a classic opening day fluke, that one.
I think
Sorry, Wigan fans.
I think Wigan are going to be very reliant on home form like they were last year as well.
Yeah,
So
and it doesn't
I
bode
leave
well that
that.
you're conceding 2 to Cardiff, if I'm being honest.
No.
Scoring 3 is promising against Cardiff, though. So what do I know?
Yeah.
We both went for a 2-0 win to Brentford, and it was a 1-0 win to Birmingham.
God, I have to say, this is probably the most bizarre game of Championship football I saw in terms of the Hearts. Like, I noticed Birmingham had one shot the entire game, and it was a header from outside the box that ended up being the
It's an unreal header, though.
It's ridiculous from Pedersen.
Oh,
yeah, God.
I think that's the best header I've ever seen. Genuinely,
it was ridiculous.
I don't think I've seen a header anywhere near that good before. I mean, I've seen some outrageous.
Crazy.
I've seen some outrageous angles before. It's like people like falling back and doing it.
Yeah.
But to beat someone in the top corner.
I know the keeper had no chance because outside the box as well. It's just cheeky. But
take it or leave it. Birmingham.
Definitely leave that. Definitely.
Yes,
leave that.
I think that's another classic fluke one.
Brentford. I think Birmingham will be loving the fact that they've got a result there because they don't have to play Brentford at that absolute fortress that is Griffin Park usually again, and they've come away with 3 points. I'd be delighted if I was them because later on in the season they'd probably get hammered there. But anyway,
Up next was Swansea Hull. I predicted 1-1. You predicted a 2-1 win for Swansea, so you got it bang on.
Yes. There we go.
I didn't expect them to score 2 because I just thought he was going to score them. But you know what? Fair play to you, Swansea. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm not going to take it though.
I will take it actually.
You think Swansea better than Hull?
I think they're both just pretty average sides, and I think Swansea got a bit more quality about them.
I just think in the long run their lack of goal scoring is going to show. I mean,
it will, yeah.
I think Hull, like you're saying, as long as they've still got as long as they've still got Bowen and Grzycki, I think they're better than Swansea.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. I think definitely those are 2 big important players.
But what I will say is I don't think there's much between them, so that's fair. But I just think that Hull are better. So I'm going to leave it. But I can see why you're taking it.
Yeah.
This next one was a shocker for me. I predicted 3-0 Fulham. It was 1-0 Barnsley. You predicted 2-2. Neither of us got a point for that one.
Yeah.
I have to say I've got to leave it as much. But here's what I would say. I was going to say take it, but then I was like, well, no, because that just sounds daft because it makes me think that Barnsley are better than Fulham, which they're not. But I think there's a lot to take from this if you're a Barnsley fan. I think this is just going to show that I know it's their first game, and I'm getting a bit excited, but I think you're going to show you're a bit of a fortress at home.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll stay up based on their home form, and I think they've got a great manager in Daniel Stendel. So
yep,
yeah, I think
we both love him.
I'll leave it as well. Despite that, I will leave it. Yeah.
Yep. So up next was Stoke QPR. I predicted 2-1 to Stoke, and you predicted a 1-1, and it was 2-1 to QPR.
And you know what? Actually, I so nearly went for 2-1 QPR for some reason. I just had a feeling they were going to get back.
Really?
But then I just went for 1-1. And I wish I had now because they did win 2-1.
By the way, I think they had goal of the day, in my opinion. That QPR.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, great.
The build up from the back. Oh,
yeah. And the
lovely.
run, the little trick in the box, then just slides it past.
Oh no,
Butler.
that was
great.
That was slick. I loved it. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to take it. I think QPR are better in the end.
I think I'll leave it because I don't think they're better. I think if it was a draw, I would have taken it.
I just think all their signings today, I just think QPR are really headed in the right direction, which shocks me.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to take it.
But I'm not sure if they're going to keep it up the whole season. But I do think they're going well, actually. I think they'll be... I'm not sure about Mark Warburton, but we'll have to see. Because he underwhelmed at Forest.
Yeah, he's not my favourite manager, but and the thing is, I admit, we're in the early going. So all these things, it's going to change around, obviously, a lot.
Yeah.
Because the Championship always does. But right now, I just think... if they played again, I think that result would have happened again. Crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Up next was a shocker for me. And for you, no points on this one. I went 0-0, you went 1-0 Blackburn, and Charlton won 2-1.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take that though.
I'm gonna leave that. Yeah. Charlton for me, even though Blackburn, I know you backed Blackburn to get relegated, but Charlton for me is still the weakest team in the league.
The only thing that I would like to take,
Taylor looks good. But...
The only thing I'd like to take from that is I think it's worrying if you're a Blackburn fan, and I'm clinging on to that because I predicted them to be relegated. And I think losing at home to Charlton's a bad sign, but it is the opening day, so I will caveat it with that. And in fairness, all these games have the caveat of it was opening day, so you can't take too much from them.
Given that Blackburn have such a good home record last year, I was surprised to see it go out the window so quickly to, in my opinion, the weakest team in the league. But anyway,
they could actually ride some momentum, Charlton. You know, this is early. If you're a Charlton fan, you've got to pray that you have a good start because I don't think you have the legs for the full season.
Yeah, exactly.
Up next was one we both got a point for because we both predicted a 2-1, but it was 3-1 in the end to Sheffield Wednesday. And I thought you were good value for it in the end, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd take that result. I think Reading will surprise a lot of people this year, but I think we will as well. So I think
you looked good actually. To be fair to you, and you didn't even have all your players in.
Exactly.
Kieran Lee being back was it showed.
Beast, yeah. He's magician.
I mean, you went to the game, so we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Great away day.
So I heard a lot of people were a massive fan of Hutchinson, which surprised me. That he was the best player on the pitch.
I didn't notice him too much, Hutchinson.
Some people claim he was the best player.
I think he was basically just didn't have too much to do defensively. Like he just sort of he protected the back line well because he's sort of that CDM, and obviously to get a goal in his beer.
I think him and Bannon got like team of the week or something like that.
Yeah, I think Harris was probably man of the match for me. From our perspective, he had a great game.
I love that goal. That cut inside was lovely. Although Westwood getting suspended is not ideal.
Westwood was not. I'm very angry at Westwood because Ojebaggio, I think, was about to get the ball.
He looked clumsy. He took them both out, didn't he? He looked clumsy.
No, I've actually seen the replay, and Reading fans will probably go, "Oh, I know you're a Wednesday fan. You're going to." He actually didn't touch. Yakume. So.
Yeah, but like you just look at it in that situation.
Obviously, I could understand why he'd done
it. But did Ojebaggio take out?
He took Ojebaggio out. No, Westwood took Ojebaggio out.
Yeah, but then did he take out Miete?
No, Miete just dived from what I saw.
Oh. Right.
But he just looked very close to the ball.
But in fairness, a ref's never going to not take that, are they? Because he's taking out his own man.
From his perspective, I could understand why he gave a penalty.
When you saw it live, did you think that was blatant?
I thought he actually poleaxed him live. Yeah. So obviously I didn't see the ref's decision. But having seen a replay, it wasn't a penalty. Well, it wasn't a penalty anyway. It's a free kick, wasn't it? But
right. Next was Millwall Preston. 1-0. Millwall. You predicted that. I got a 1-1. You went for 1-0. 3 points for you there. I'm going to take that because I think Millwall's home form is just going to continue, and I think Preston are bad. So I'm going to take that.
I agree. Yeah. Sorry, Preston Millwall. We don't have much to, and it's not
You're right.
Exciting. It's not the most exciting game to. Because it's nothing really happened, was it? It was just sort of. I think they scored within 10 minutes. Preston didn't really have much going forward.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty routine win for Millwall at home, really, that you've seen over the years. They ground out results, so there you go.
Yeah.
I'd take that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Forest West Brom. I went for a 2-2, you went for 1-1. We both got it wrong. It was 2-1 West Brom. And I'm going to take that. I think West Brom are going to be good value this year. I think they're going to be really good value.
I've gone for West Brom to win the league, so...
I think you might be... I think you're just wrong. I think Fulham are going to turn it around, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, it could go either way. Although I put Fulham third, didn't I? But who knows? We'll have to see.
Right, up next, Bristol Leeds. I went for 3-2 Bristol. You went for 2-1 Bristol. And I thought Leeds... I have to say, Leeds looked really good.
They did.
I don't know what to do with this one. I'm gonna leave it for now, just because I just don't know if I can put stock in that. I don't know.
I'm gonna take it because I think Leeds will finish above Bristol at the end of the day. But equally, I don't think Leeds are much better. I think Bristol will still do quite well this year. Bristol City. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think Leeds are going to remember the league like they're all getting carried away at the moment.
As they tend to.
I think they'll falter again. I'm sorry, Leeds. I think you'll I think he'll finish playoffs.
In fairness,
again.
though, I can see why they're excited. It was a very, very good performance.
It was. But I mean, their transfer business just shows really that I don't think they'll last the full season, and their strikers are not strong enough in my opinion. So.
And finally, I have, in my opinion, the performance of the week was Tom Lawrence for Derby. I think he played brilliant. And
that first goal was quite comical, but yes.
Yeah, you got this one bang on as well. You said 2-1 Derby, said 1-0 Huddersfield, and I was wrong. And I think I'm going to take it. I think Huddersfield looked woeful. Not woeful, but they didn't look that impressive. And I think Derby...
I'll take it as well.
Yeah.
I think Derby are moving in the right direction.
Huddersfield fans, if I were you, I would just say accept the fact you're going to be mid-table, sadly, which has got my prediction wrong. I think you're mid-table.
I think I put them in 12th or 11th or something, so that could be going where I thought it was. But yeah, anyway, I'd probably say that as well.
Well, there you go. So overall, I had an absolute shocker that round. I got 2 points. You got 11, so you've got a 9-point lead through week one. You got 3 results correct, and 3 scores correct and 2 results correct. That's how you got that.
Yeah,
which is impressive. I only got the two results. So you've got a good lead. It's not over though. 45 more games to go. 45 more
very different
rounds to go. Right. Which leads us on to scores for this week. We've got two in the going, Premier League and Championship. So I'm going to go... sorry, bear with me. I'm just getting it all up. Premier League fixtures. The first one, obviously, is Liverpool-Norwich. Who are you going for on this one?
Do you know what? I could easily see Norwich getting a point out of this, but I can't back against Liverpool. No, just because it's the opening day. But I think I'm going to go for 3-1 Liverpool. But I could see Norwich getting a point for some reason. I don't know why I think that.
I'm going to go... You went... Sorry, what did you go for again? Sorry. 3-0.
3-1 Norwich. 3-1 Liverpool.
I was about to say 3-1.
Gee, that would be impressive, wouldn't it? That would be performance.
I can see Norwich bagging a goal.
That's what I mean.
And normally the opening games are a bit tough, but what I would say is I just don't think their defence is good enough.
No, exactly. And at Anfield as well, I think it'll be...
do you know, I don't want to go the same as you, though. I don't want to go 4-1. 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1.
I almost went for 2-1. 3-1's is what I think.
I think it could be, because it's an early game, it could be a close one, but I think Liverpool will sneak it. You could well be right there, but at least that way I'll pick up a point. Right, I'll go first on this next one. Oh, bloody hell, get out of the way. West Ham, Man City. I am going to go for a 2-0 Man City.
I'm going to go for a 3-0 Man City away victory. I think 2-0 was what I was going to go for as well, but again, I didn't want to...
Well, we are allowed to be similar if we agree, but... Up next, you go first. That's from Crystal Palace, Everton.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Everton.
Okay. I'm going to go for 1-1 here. I think it's got 1-1
I was thinking of 1-1, but yeah, I
just think Palace are somehow going to sneak a goal opening day and all that.
Yeah.
Burnley, Southampton. This is a toughie.
Okay.
I'll go first on this one. Blimey. 1-0 Burnley.
I was going to go for that, but I think I was also tending towards 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, that's fair. Watford, Brighton. You first.
Brighton.
This
is a tough one, actually. I'm going to say 2-1 home victory for Watford.
I agree with that. 2-1. Bournemouth, Sheffield United. I'm going to go...
You go.
This is tough because I don't like predicting.
Do you say positive, or do you just go with what your head thinks?
If I'm honest, I'm gonna go with what my
Yeah.
head thinks, which is sorry, Sheffield United fans. I think actually I say sorry. I think it's gonna be a 2-2.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 Bournemouth.
You see, I nearly went that, and I decided I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I just can't. For some reason, I can't
I just couldn't predict
Bournemouth
us losing.
not winning. I don't know why.
Yeah, I just couldn't predict us losing.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. I almost predicted Reading to beat us.
Yeah.
I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I get that.
Especially because I know how much we need to win games like that.
Yeah.
Tottenham Villa, I've gone for a... Oh, no, it's you to go first this one, sorry.
Tottenham
Villa.
Tottenham Villa. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Spurs.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Spurs.
Yeah.
Wolves, Leicester. I think it's going to be a really good game, this one. I'm going for a, call me crazy, but a 2-3 to Wolves.
Leicester at home, sorry. Who's at home?
Leicester, sorry.
Ooh. I'm going to go for a 2-2 in that game.
2-2.
I agree that there'll be a lot of goals scored, but I think it'll finish on as even.
I think Leicester's defence is definitely going to be leaky. I'm not sure if Wolves will be. Newcastle, Arsenal, I think this is going to be a brutal game. Who's to go first on this one? It's you.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 away victory for Arsenal.
Call me crazy. I'm going for a 4-0 Arsenal.
Blimey.
I just think they're going to absolutely... Actually, no, I'm changing that to a 4-1. 4-1.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle sneak a goal. Last, Man U Chelsea. I think this is going to be a 1-1.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be a 1-1 as well.
Okay.
It's got a really sort of...
Onto the Championship, because I'm aware we're wasting time here, and this is all just for people to play along at home. It's not really interesting listening so much as just seeing if they guess better than us. I'm just writing out the fixtures. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds.
It's okay.
Your first home game this week, are you going? I know you won't be coming, will you?
No, not going to be able to go till a few weeks. But I'm going to the away game next week, Millwall.
Oh, decent.
At the Den.
Try not to get. I was going to make a joke about it, but I'm sure Millwall fans are sick of hearing it. Leeds, Forest to start with. You're first. Off you
go. I think Forest have been a bit of a bogey team for Leeds recently, so I'm going to go for a 1-1. Even though I think Leeds are strong.
I've gone for a 2-1 Leeds.
I was going to go for that, but I've gone for a 1-1.
Hull Reading. I've gone for a 1-0 Hull.
I'm also going to go for the 1-1 again.
Okay.
This one.
West Brom. Millwall.
I'm going to go for a 3-1 home victory for West Brom.
I'm going for 2-0. Derby, Swansea. I've got to start predicting some more crazy results. 1-1.
2-1 to Derby. For me for this one.
Okay. Charlton Stoke.
Ooh. 2-1 Stoke. No. 2-2.
2-2. Wow.
I just think because Charlton at home and Stoke, I think.
Yeah, they're on momentum. To be fair, I can see why you're thinking that.
It's only because of this. If this is late in the season, I'd say Stoke walk away with all 3 points. But
yeah,
I just got a feeling.
You see, I'm looking back on results as well, thinking Stoke did slip up to QPR. Do you know what? I'm going to be bold and say 2-1 win Charlton.
I almost went for that, actually, to be fair.
Cardiff Luton. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Cardiff.
1-0 Cardiff. I nearly went for that. I was actually almost torn for a goalless draw there, to be honest. Preston Wigan.
Yeah.
What are you going for on this one?
Oh, Preston at home.
Yes.
I think this says. I think this has got a 2-2 draw written all over it for me.
Oh, really? I don't. I have it as a 0-0.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think I'll have goals in it. I just don't know why.
It's a derby, so it could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah, true.
I'm not sure how much of a big derby it is, to be honest, but it is a derby.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday, Barnsley. I'm assuming you're not going to predict a loss there.
I could see us losing, honestly, but I can't back against. I think we're doing quite well at the moment ourselves. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Barnsley because of the momentum they've got and the manager they've got. I think they'll do all right.
I've gone for a 2-1 for you. I think you're going to beat them.
I'd be very happy with that. I'd be very happy with that, to be fair.
I think you can beat them.
I do think we can beat them, but I think at the stage of this season,
I just think it's because it's their away form. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad we're playing them at home. Right, if we were playing them away, I'd be backing us to
It's
leave.
tough. It's not a great time to be playing them there, to tell you the truth.
No, it's not.
Right. Fulham, Blackburn.
Ooh. I'm going to back that for. I'm actually going to back a 3-0 home victory for Fulham there, actually. I think they'll tear them up.
I actually agree with you. 3-0.
You went 3-0 last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
But I actually agree with it.
I'm going to stick with it until it gets right. QPR Huddersfield. I can see this being a 2-0. QPR.
I'm going to go for 2-1 QPR.
Okay. Birmingham Bristol, what are you going for on that one?
Ooh, 2-1 away victory for Bristol City.
I'm going 1-1.
Actually, no, I guess I'll stick with it. I was going to go 1-1, but I'll stick with it.
I'm going 1-1, and I'm also going 1-1 Brentford Borough as the last game.
Who's at home?
Borough.
Just because of that, I think I'll also go for a 1-1.
Okay. Right, so if you think you can beat us or you're smarter than us, put in your submissions for this week. I can't accept last week's anymore, but you're only 2 points behind me if you start now. So you've got plenty, you don't got exactly much to catch up on. And see if you can get those points. The reminder is that if you get the result right, it's 1 point. And if you get the score right, it's 3 points. That's all it is. Right, last little segment. We were going to do what year it is, but I think I'm just going to put that out in a tweet as a guess for everyone. And I'll give our random stat out then as well, because we're running out of time. Just for this week. In fairness, it's purely because of the transfer market, isn't it? Just being mad this week that we've been so long.
Yeah.
So let's just do the table predictions for the Premier League, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to end up justifying them. I think we're just going to put them out there, to be honest, because we're running out of time.
Well, I mean, you can't justify it anyway, really, can you? I mean,
no. So let's just go from the bottom, shall we? What did you go for?
Yeah. Bottom, I have gone for Crystal Palace. And don't get me wrong, I could easily see them staying up. But
okay, interesting.
Honestly, I'll send you a photo after, right, of the amount of scribblings out I've got here. It's ridiculous.
I've got a few. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of mine I scribbled out. I went for Norwich.
Bottom of the table. Yeah, I had not sure at one point, actually, but I crossed them out.
I just,
But Norwich,
I don't know. I could be really wrong on that. I'm just convinced that they're not good enough.
I think it's going to go either way with Norwich. They're either going to surprise everyone and do a bit of a, not completely like Wolves. They'll finish like 12th or something like that, or they'll just finish rock bottom, like you say. I think, it could go.
Yeah, definitely. Up next, I have Southampton. What do you have?
Sorry, I've disconnected there for a second.
I have Southampton. What do you have?
This is 19th. 19th. I have Southampton as well, actually.
Yeah, I think they were there or thereabout last year, and I don't think they've got much better.
Yeah.
Newcastle next for me. I think they're another classic team they've spent a lot of money, but they've spent it all on a couple of players, and I don't think Bruce is going to get the best out of them. I think they're in trouble.
Yeah. I've actually gone for Brighton.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. To be honest with you, I've put Brighton in a bit of a dodgy spot, but I'm just gonna have to stick to it. But
there's some who I put there's one or two you end up putting really high without wanting to really.
Well, some of it's just by process of elimination, isn't it? You just kind of figure out who's left. Exactly. You're like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Up next for me was Burnley, just surviving. Burnley.
I had Newcastle.
Fair. I can see any of these so far. I'm like, yeah, this is all reasonable. Yeah. Palace bottom is questionable for me, but other than that, because I've got Palace in 16th. Yeah. But it's still, by the way, when I say questionable, I mean just the most questionable. It's still.
Yeah, I'm definitely questioning it. I'm not sure, but I couldn't think.
I still think it could happen. Though. I still think it could happen. Yeah.
We'll see, really.
Who have you got 16th? I had Palace.
I have Norwich in 16th.
Okay, so we've actually agreed on our bottom five. It's just in a different order. Oh no, we haven't. Yeah. I've got Burnley and you've got Brighton. That's the only difference. Sheffield United 15th.
I've also got you 15th as well. Although I didn't. Not gonna lie, I had you at the bottom at one point. I've had you higher.
I've seen Talksport put out a tweet saying, "Give us your." Or was it Talksport? It was someone like that. They're like, "Give us your Premier League predictions, your table." And I kid you not, 75% of them to 80% was Sheffield United at the bottom.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that. I think it's because people don't respect the fact that we've just bought a load of Championship players. So
yeah, I mean, it could go either way for you, really. We'll have to see how it goes.
I just trust Wilder, but he's never been at this level, so I don't know. Exactly. We'll see.
That's the thing; it's a bit of a gamble.
But I do trust him. 14th Brighton for me.
14th, I have Burnley.
Burnley. Okay.
They're the one that they were left over, and I thought they're a bit high for my estimation, but they were kind of left out. So
they had a bad season last year as well.
But I do rate Sean.
So what's interesting is our bottom 7, we're in agreement, just in a different order. So it's not shocking, to be fair, because I think there's a gulf. I think from this next one, I think you'll probably have got the same here. I think there's a gulf after this. Bournemouth.
Yeah. 13th, I put Villa.
Oh, right, okay. So we are different. Yeah. I thought you were going to put Bournemouth there as well. Now because I think Villa's a bit cut above Bournemouth. Because I've got Villa 12th.
12th, I put Watford.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
West Ham 11th for me.
Bournemouth 11th, I thought.
Wow, that's interesting that you think Bournemouth are going to do. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just interesting that we think.
I just thought they had an alright season. I could don't get wrong. Bournemouth, Watford, Villa.
Do you know? I nearly call me crazy, but I nearly had Bournemouth in 15th at one point.
I could see that. Their recruitment hasn't been excellent, but
yeah. Leicester 10th for me.
10th, I put West Ham.
Yeah, fair. 9th, Watford for me.
9th, I put Wolves.
Wolves, right, okay. Interesting. You're going to be shocked by some of mine. 8th, Everton for me.
8th, Leicester.
Okay, I can see that, to be fair. I can see why you've put them that way. 7th, Chelsea.
7th, I put Everton.
Do you know who's left that I've not picked yet? Who's going to be in the top 6?
Wolves.
Yeah, 6 is Wolves.
Yeah. 6th, I put Man United.
I think people are going to rip me for that, and they're probably right too. But I just got a feeling they've got it. Yeah, because I just think Chelsea. I just think Lampard's not going to do enough of them. I think they're going to have a rough year.
Yeah, I think they will. Actually, that's a good point. I didn't think about Lampard actually, but yeah, 6th Man U I put.
Yeah, 5th Man U for me.
5th I put Chelsea.
Yeah. You see, I just couldn't put them above any of the other top teams. And then I thought, actually, I like Wolves better than Chelsea anyway. But in fairness, I've probably been a bit rogue on that one. In fairness, but I just wanted to be a bit interesting. 4th, I've gone with, some people aren't going to agree with this either, Spurs.
I've put Spurs in 4th.
And then Arsenal, I think this is clear from now. Arsenal 3rd, Liverpool 2nd.
Arsenal 3rd, Liverpool 2nd, Man City.
Yeah, okay, we agreed on the top 4. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think most people have that, to be fair.
The top 3 especially, I'm fairly confident.
The only one I'm actually questionable on is because Spurs are still good. It's just that they've got, if Kane stays fit, they could actually beat Arsenal out. But
yeah.
All right.
I think they've had a much better chance.
Again, if you think you're better than us, send yours in either through Twitter or email, and we'll see who comes out on top at the end of the season. And you'll probably do a lot better than us because we just, we're not convincing at times.
Yeah, to say the least.
Well, that's been a bit of a long one, but I do think, in fairness, as a caveat for that, or caveat, is it caveat? I can't remember. I keep saying caveat. I do think that it's purely because we had such madness of the transfers, and we don't panic, fans, I call you, listeners. We will be getting in deep diving more into results from now on. It's just that there's been transfers this week. We're always going to talk the transfers.
Yeah, transfer. We won't do it in future weeks until January, obviously. So
I think it will just be a bit this week. I think this episode was always going to be
in the future as well.
Yeah, this episode was always going to be a long one because of that.
Yeah,
I just don't like, because that's one thing I always find frustrating about any coverage. I just feel like every club gets left out a bit, and I know we did skip over some, but at least we mentioned everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
So please, if you feel like we didn't cover your club enough, let us know, and we'll try and have a bit more of a chat about it next time because we do have some time.
I noticed we didn't get much done on Watford this time and the transfers.
Which is fair. So we probably should talk about them a bit more. Other than that, though, I will be putting out instead, just for this week, I'm going to have to trust you guys on your Googling or not, what year it is. And I won't do the Who Am I for this week, but I'll do what year it is.
What did I get last week, actually?
You were run off. You said 2011, 2012. It was 2010, 2011.
I thought it was 2010-11, actually, when I thought about it afterwards.
That's what I was like, ooh. So you've got 1 point out of 2 from that. I'll put it out on Twitter, see if you can get it.
I could have easily worked that out if I'd worked out Sheffield United has been out of the Championship for 6 years.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you could have actually worked that out from there. But anyway,
you could have taken it. From them, they were in the League One for 6 years, something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, no, you're right. Well, I'll put it out on Twitter for this week, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, get some interaction. So, just as a last bit, guys, if you could leave us, if you're listening, firstly, if you feel like it, a email at slysportsfooty@gmail.com. It'll be in the show notes as well. Our Twitter is footysly. We have no followers at the moment, so it would be nice to get some. Although, in fairness, I've only sent out 2 tweets. If you can leave us a review on whatever you're listening on, that would be great. And if you could pass it on to your friends if you enjoy it, if you do, obviously, so we can get some more listeners, I think we'd appreciate it. But at the same time, like we said before, we're not in it for loads of listeners, but it'd just be nice to have a bit of interaction, a bit back and forth with some people.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
We have a YouTube as well at Sly Sports Footy Pod. That's all one word. And we're going to upload this episode, and the first episode is already up. And hopefully the audio is a bit better. We are still looking at improving it again, because I do have this mic at the moment, and you have yours. But I think we're going to try eventually upgrade when we have some money. But until then, yeah, I think that's about everything, isn't it? Really, is there anything else you want to add?
No, not really. It's been a long one, but I've enjoyed it. And next week, as you said, we promise we'll be a lot more concise next week.
I think
because there will be no more transfers.
I think next week we'll have an even split of Championship and Premiership as well, because it's just be results. Yeah. It'll just be results. So
exactly.
Don't panic, fans of either league. If you're just here for one league, we will be covering both evenly. Well, Duncan, until next time, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
good to speak to you, mate.
Yeah, good to speak to you.
And see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Cheers for listening, everyone. Thank you.